Hi, welcome to Write More Light. My name is Sarah, and I am here with the Midwest Writing Center and Crunchy. That's his name. Um, and this is a web series in which we talk about either um, short lessons in writing, the writing life, or alternatively, I'll interview someone really awesome in the art world. Most of the time, when I use the word art, I'm talking about writing, or sometimes the opposite. I'll say writing and I mean art. Consider them interchangeable. Today is our first episode of fall 2025. We stopped for the summer, and that's my inspiration for today's episode. Getting back into the groove. Life is always giving us interruptions, and sometimes we got to get back into the habit. If you're not familiar with the web series, I give that little intro that I just gave. I will talk about the subject or interview the subject, and then I'll have a free write at the end and updates about the Midwest Writing Center, upcoming events, things to look forward to um, in the writing world. So, summer is a big interruption of the normal flow of things at the Writing Center, and especially for me personally. And so lots of things get left behind. You may know that the Write More Light video series does not take place in the summer. That's one thing that gets left behind. Okay, this is precious. Uh, but another thing that gets left behind is my writing practice. And while I don't have all the answers, I have some solutions that I'm going to share. One of them is white knuckling it. You just wake up on your first day back to what could or should be normal life, normal routine, and just force your way through it. That is not something, sorry about that. That is not something that works for me. Um, so, and this is just going to be my general advice, but different things work for different people. I'm not everyone. I've only lived, one life. So I'm gonna have some suggestions that maybe are less effective for me, and then, the one that I tend toward. That one is giving myself little practice sessions. Set a really short timer, sit down somewhere cozy, do something writing adjacent. So I might write about what I want to write about. I might journal. I might try to remember. I mean, it's all going to be writing, right? So when I say try to remember, I mean I'm going to be writing these things down. The projects I was working on, the last scene, without looking. Although that's an option too for one of your short little sessions is going back and reading, the last few things you wrote, the last few sections you wrote, whatever it is you're working on. Um, yeah, give myself little small exercises to just remind myself, like, this is writing time. You're a writer. This isn't an overwhelming thing that you are being forced to do. It's something you really like and want to do. Because I know for me, and if you've seen really any of my videos, for me, pressure is going to get me every time. So if I add too much pressure to it, then more time will go by, then there's more pressure, and it just gets that much harder to get back into the habit. Um, so I give myself little bitty writing reminders. For me, journaling and lists and sort of brainstorming are really effective, but I would also throw prompts in there or writing groups or writing time with somebody else. Um, Depends, what your life looks like, what your schedule looks like, what your bandwidth is, because, going out and meeting up with someone to have writing time, requires having time and space and maybe even money in your life to go and do a thing in a place. Um, that's generally what my go-to has been. I'll say the last two times that I've been trying to get back into the habit, the writing habit after interruptions. And this doesn't matter if, like, for me, it's traveling that usually interrupts things. In the summer, life is just very, very different for me. Um, but it can just be like I fell out of the habit, right? The phone rang one day and I had a meeting the next day, and then it was gone. Because habits are a lot easier to break than they are to make. Um, Now, if that doesn't work for you, there are a lot of people who swear by, for lack of a better word, rituals. And these rituals then sort of become they sort of become Pavlovian, right? We condition ourselves to say, oh, this means it's writing time. I've known several writers who have a candle, and then if they're traveling or something, they bring like a little tea light candle just so that they can say, I'm lighting the candle, it's writing time. If it's, for some people, it's maybe a scented candle, and they're like, oh, I've got two different things, like this activity of lighting the candle and the smell are reminding me it's lighting time, writing time. And of course, you can't bring a candle into a coffee shop, probably, but it is something that you can hypothetically travel with, right? You can do that when you're wherever you are when you travel. You can do it at home, but it does make it harder to write in any space. And I think being able to write in a variety of physical spaces is a huge, huge plus. But I guess that's a different um, different topic altogether. There are other ways to set that tone, right? I have seen one person who has like a not a tablecloth, but like a placemat, like a really large doily, and that's their sort of ritual. Like you put that out, and then I have a notebook, but you set your computer on it, and it doesn't really matter where you are. You just have your little placemat. Um, yeah, and like I said, those cue after you've done it a few times, they cue your brain to saying, "Oh, that means it's time to write," which is obviously super helpful, especially if you've worked at that and it's become a Pavlovian thing. Um, I've never been able to, well, I've never been able to make a ritual like that turn into a habit, but I also don't want to be stuck with that as my habit. And I will say, after you have a big break like that, like you hypothetically have, um, you can try to start a new habit in this time when you're trying to reestablish the habit, right? I know for me, well, I am someone who really enjoys mornings, but I'm not someone who often is able to take advantage of morning writing. Um, so if it's later in the day, there's a good chance I need to move my body. There's a good chance I need to exercise if I want to sit still, like at all remotely. So actually, I should do this, but it's not what I'm doing right now. If I, so it would be a cool idea for me to say, okay, on, I don't know, Tuesdays and Thursdays, after lunch, I'm going to take a walk and then it's writing time. And then that can serve as the ritual. And, if you're, say, somewhere where you can't walk, I mean, yeah, there are times and environments in which walking is not an option, but that can serve as the ritual. Um, to go out for your walk and then eventually your body says, okay, I walked, it's writing time. Um, I noticed this with me. If I when I This is just really silly, but when I was a kid living at home, um, there was some day of the week, I think it was Thursdays. I don't know. I just really like Thursdays. My mom and I were alone on Thursdays. And so sometimes we would get takeout or make a favorite meal. I don't remember. But but what I'm getting at is we would always have or we had the same meal a few times in a row, and then it started to be on that day of the week I wanted that food. Um, so your body really does learn these things, even if yeah, even if that's silly, or you get the same songs in your head at different times of year. Maybe that's just me. But it's not like Christmas songs I expect to hear in December. It's like um I don't know, some pop song that I played on repeat in April of 2006. Now I think of in April all the time. Um, yeah, so really, if you can give yourself a physical cue, it doesn't necessarily have to be a ritual. It can be more of a routine. That can be really, really effective for getting back, for creating a new habit. And sometimes creating a new habit is what we want to do when we've got a break in our habit. So, um, yeah, so I know the physical thing can really sound a bit like ritual, um, but I'm not advising it as a ritual, but as an option for another way to work around. Like, I fell out of the habit. How do I get back in? My thinking in that regard is really akin to if you say have a block or a stressor or, anything where you really need to reset, doing a physical activity can be really, really helpful, especially if it sort of gets you off the topic that's bothering you. I know a lot of people work through things when they're walking or knitting or whatever, but for me, I find it useful to get my mind off the thing that's bothering me. I unfortunately can't think of a way to make chores work into the routine or work into a writing practice, but if I could, I would have a cleaner house. Um, Other things I've seen people do, other than what I was sort of trying to imply with the start small is uh hello, setting maybe a 10-minute alarm or a super small task like a journal prompt. I know I listed other ideas for how to get back into the habit, but yeah, other ideas are working with an art form that is either more difficult or easier to access. Um, Say, okay, well, I'm not in the habit of writing anymore at this time of day or whatever it is that you are used to having be part of your routine. Um, but I've been taking a lot of pictures. I took a lot of pictures while I was on vacation. Then you can spend some time taking pictures, or you can write into those pictures, whatever that means to you. I actually have a friend who sews, or maybe not sews, embroiders photos. So, you'll get really multimedia about it. Um, yeah, I wasn't trying to make a super long video today. I was trying to think about how Write More Light's going to go, and I started to feel a little weird about my own writing. And I thought when I was making the schedule, I was like, you know what? This is a really good opportunity for me to think about, how schedules and routines are made and broken. And so I'd love to hear what ideas you have on how to get back into your habits or kickstart your habits. Um, those are just a couple that I know of that people use and that have been helpful to me, or to people I know and love. So let me know what your thoughts and feelings are on the topic. And I will now let you know what's up at the Midwest Writing Center. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to my Tuesday, Thursday routine. Um, yeah, so what's up at the Midwest Writing Center? This weekend, um, today is Thursday, August 7th. So this weekend on Saturday, August 9th is our makeup date for Writer's Studio Online. So that's still 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday on Zoom. Um, but we lost a date in July because I was away. And so we're going to do a makeup date this Saturday. We also will be at Fedgeberry Park's Family Fun Days with our our staff. Janie will be at a table with a writing center friend named Abby. We'll have books for the kids, some school supplies, some programs and prompts and stuff for adults. That's supposed to be really fun. It's free. It's with Davenport Parks. Um, Next Thursday, of course, the big day, the 20th anniversary of the Atlas comes out next Thursday at Roz Talks at 5 o'clock. We're going to show up. We're going to have some literary vendors. We're going to be outside. And then 5:30, the interns are going to read from the 20th edition of the Atlas. And then at 8 o'clock, the young emerging writers, staff, and alum will take the indoor stage for a little bit of reading. So I'll see you then. I mean, I'll be at the whole thing, but I am alum and staff, which is actually really, really cool. And then after us is a DJ set from Brian Denton. I think I got his name right. I'm not looking at it. That's my mistake. Which is gonna be really cool because he actually reached out and asked like for thematic music or vibey music from us. So that's gonna be really, really cool. I don't often stay up late. So it's gonna be really exciting for me in particular. Um, oh my gosh, I have so much more goodies in store. We're of course taking accepting workshop pitches um and we'll have more readings coming up, but that's a really fun one. Oh, then on Friday, I keep wanting to say April, August 15th, so next Friday, is the Rat Trap release party. Rat Trap is a local literary magazine. Um, and they are coming out with their first issue. They're having their release party at the Atlas Collective the day after the Atlas release, which I think is really fun. The editor-in-chief is a former intern with the Young Emerging Writers Program. The magazine is really cool. It's handmade. I'm very impressed. Then, of course, the 16th is another Writers Studio Day. You know, I'm gonna skip ahead to August 30th, which is Saturday, obviously at the end of the month. That week, August 25th through 31st or 26th through 31st is the week of the Great River Writers Retreat. And so on the 30th, at 4 o'clock at the Atlas Collective, that's in downtown Moline, we're going to have our reading for the resident. Her name is Stella Joyce Crawl. And so she'll give a reading from our work in progress. The retreat asks or gives the recipient the opportunity to work on a specific, which they will tell us, right? We ask them to have a specific project in mind. Um, a work in progress. She'll read from that project. She'll talk about her time as a resident and her process. It's really nice to get to know these writers before they yeah, before they take off. She's got some awards under her belt. Her name is already in the world. So it'll be really, really cool, really exciting. Um, So, thank you for hanging out with me today. I would like you to set 5 or 10 minutes, depending how much time you have, on a timer and make yourself whatever feels good. I'm going to suggest a list. But if it's a poem, if it's a story, if it's an essay, whatever comes out is whatever comes out on uh, habits, whatever that means to you. Thanks for hanging out with me. As always, please write more light into your life.